Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Straight Talk for the Soul series. I'm Carrie Murphy, your host and the creator of this global broadcasting community. And wow, there's a lot of energy flowing today. I'm just so feeling it already. I want to extend a bright and a beautiful good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you tuning in and joining us from all corners of the world. I see people calling in from all corners. So welcome to our sacred circle and our listening family. Please remember that you can subscribe and learn more about our speakers and our offerings at straighttalkforthesoul.com. And you can find us on iTunes and YouTube and Facebook. Just type in Straight Talk for the Soul. Wow, am I excited about today. Angel wings up, everybody. We are here to celebrate together, to celebrate our angel wings with Kaia. We're here to celebrate our option and opportunity to access higher wisdom, higher spirals of potential and purpose and possibility. And who better to support us in navigating that journey and even facing our fears, embodying our higher selves, and stepping into our divine feminine leadership roles than my beautiful friend Kaia. I'm so grateful she's back. I encourage you to give yourself the gift of slowing down, taking in some deep conscious breaths, smiling, of course. Place your hand on your heart and just intend for the greatest openings and revelations and activations and connections available to you during our time together with Kaia. It feels like a very powerful day, and we're presenting a powerful topic with Kaia. Our topic is wings up, and I love that so much. Activating your angelic light bodies in 2019. We're going to talk about the higher self as a living angel on earth, what's happening on the planet, and ways to support you in stepping into leadership. We'll discuss strengthening the physical and emotional bodies and deepening your connection with the masters, not only for your personal life, but also because we're being called into bigger roles here. You're also going to experience an angelic light body activation. So we have a full call today, so thank you for being here. Let me tell you about Kaia, and we'll dive in. Kaia is the world-renowned oracle for an ascended master high council called the Sophia Dragon Tribe. She's the international best-selling author of the Sophia Code, which most of you have read, and you know it's incredible. She is a divine feminine teacher, a speaker, a ceremonialist, and an ordained minister teaching the Sophia Code curriculum worldwide. Surviving multiple near-death experiences, her living transmission is of shamanic proportions. Kaia leads an international movement and a modern-day mystery school for mentoring initiatives in the Codex, and she offers the Heaven on Earth Prayer Collective as well. She is a true blessing in my life and in the lives of many around the world. I'm so honored to know her and have this opportunity to once again celebrate her light with all of you. So please join me in extending waves and waves of love and light and joy to Kaia as I welcome her back to the show. So Kaia, welcome.
Oh, Carrie, that was so beautiful. I have tears in my eyes. Thank you for such a warm welcome.
You're welcome. Like, wings up, right?
Yeah.
I can feel them up with everybody. They're so excited. I got so many emails this morning about people so excited you're back and you're here. It's going to be an adventure.
If I could just take a moment to say hello to everyone, and I'm just so happy to be here with each of you. And you have such a beautiful community, Carrie. I just feel really honored to be here, and so happy that we're going to explore this amazing technology that is already ours. I'm just so happy about this.
Mm-hmm. This wing technology, and we're going to dive into that more and explore all of that. Before we do, Kaia, I mean, it's so clear to me that you've said yes to your divine purpose, and so I'm feeling called to ask you to personally describe your understanding or your interpretation of your journey and your role in this lifetime? I know it's been an adventure for you. And as the journey has evolved, Kaia, what can you say now from this broader perspective about the purposeful nature of all you've been through and what you're here to share?
What a beautiful question, Carrie. Thank you. What I have discovered, both in, as many people know on this call, and for those of you who are new to this call, I've gone on one of the most extreme journeys a human being can go on. I've experienced the most crushing darkness in the first half of my life, and recently, over the past few years, I've experienced some of the greatest success that someone could experience with their spiritual divine purpose. And what I have found in the dragon ride of those extremities is that, oh gosh, so very emotionally moved at this moment. There's nothing more important than your direct relationship with the source or with God. It's what brings me happiness. I call God Sophia, because when I had my experience, I died multiple times in my early childhood, but I had a waking experience of being taken into the light 10 years ago. And when that happened, God asked me to call her Sophia. And that doesn't mean that that's the only name of God, and it doesn't mean that God is only Holy Mother. It's just the experience that I needed to have to become a leader for the divine feminine movement in this lifetime. And what I have found is that leadership, it requires a great deal of spiritual muscle and personal muscle, rolling up your sleeves every day and following through on your divine guidance. And I think for a lot of light workers, that's not really clearly spelled out, and that's why I enjoy teaching so much, is to dispel the myth that our society kind of programs us with, this illusionary magical thinking, instead of using the creator-creatrix magic within you. There's a difference. And what I have found is that my relationship with Sophia, my relationship with that source energy, is my happiness, whether I am, no matter what I'm working on, no matter whether I'm on stage or answering emails or writing my next book, or even cleaning up my kitchen. That's really what we're looking for. After I experienced what seemingly was overnight success, but I worked so hard for it my whole life, and I continue to. It doesn't matter how much money is in your bank account. It doesn't matter how many more, what kind of outward success. Eventually, you realize your greatest joy is it's not dependent on what's happening on outside of you. It's really the communion, this ongoing communion. That's the most fascinating experience of the human experience. How can I maintain my communion with the source, with my creator-creatrix source, my Holy Mother, Holy Father? What's happening in that dialogue in every present moment? That's the source of our deepest love, and that's the source of our highest worth, and that's the source of our genius creativity. And the more that's not something that I think is really natural to the human condition. It's something that comes with the journey of being inside this prayer to be of service. And a lot of times when we start out in our journey of service, we want to serve and we want to lead, but we also need to pay our bills. So it can feel complicated or confusing, like, is this really coming from a pure place? Just keep going. And what you'll find is that even as you attain success or finally make right livelihood, making that shift, you'll find that it's still, nothing's really changed. It's really still about you and your relationship with the divine. Mm-hmm. And how much you want to go deeper and listen even more deeply and respond even more clearly to the call within you to live in that communion and to follow through on the daily divine guidance that we receive. And then those, it's not that we don't have goals for success in that journey, because the goals are exciting. They're exciting to fulfill. They're exciting to live our way into the answered prayer of those goals. But what happens is it becomes about the journey, and the goals are beautiful moments or jewels along the journey, but you really start to drop in with a heartfelt presence into the spiritual gold of every present moment, and that you really actually don't want to skip anything, just like you wouldn't want to skip any moment with a lover, in a beautiful moment of intimacy. You just want to just be fully present to that intimacy. And this is what we're talking about with communion. We're talking about the intimacy that you can experience with your higher self, with your source, creator, God, whatever you call that, Holy Spirit, Buddha, Sophia, and with your guides, because your guides also are in this communion with you, whether we're aware of it or not. They're constantly sending us the resonance of divine love, the resonance of support, the resonance of their excitement for us to be here in the game, rolling up our sleeves and participating in such an exciting and pivotal moment in humanity's history. So it's the communion, actually, that continues to fascinate me, humble me, excite me, and inspire me. And I'm just so grateful for that, because it means there's a never-ending opportunity to deepen in my relationship with myself and with my source. Does that answer your question?
It does. And you so authentically and beautifully answered it. And it's clear that this communion and connection with God, with the Sophia, I mean, it's what has healed you and I have known you for years now, and it's so beautiful to see this unfolding and supporting others with that. In writing the Sophia Code, I mean, it's called the Divine Feminine Bible for our times, which is pretty profound. And leading this modern day mystery school where the Sophia Code foundational curriculum, it helps people or guides people into the sacred heart of the divine feminine, the Christ consciousness, and helps them create these mentor relationships with the ascended masters. And I'm certain that to teach this, I mean, this is what you live in every single day. It just, you expand your communion with these beings. So what I want to ask you is, how has, since I had you on the show last, which you've been on a few times, I think, but how has it expanded to where, now we're talking about wings up, and we're talking about this wing technology, and, tell us about the expansion and just the evolution of things just in the last year.
Oh, that's such a great question. Thank you, Carrie. I love great questions. So we've been on this journey for the past 2.5 years since the Sophia Code was released. 6 months after the Sophia Code was released, I created the Year 1 curriculum. And the Year 1 curriculum represents stage 1 of your journey with the Sophia Code. And stage 1 is when you are going through a process of releasing a lot of very deeply held unconscious belief systems that are both inherited as well as programmed into us since childhood. And most especially for light workers, because light workers are already they come here already intuitive and very sensitive. They're often tapped into a creative genius, because where does all creative genius come from? It comes from the source, comes from Sophia God. And so when light workers come into this planetary matrix, we kind of get hit doubly hard in the face with how harsh the polarity is here. And so the first year curriculum is about shedding shame, shedding unforgiveness, shedding resistances to what? Your own divinity, your own sovereign divinity. The Sophia Code is a manifesto from the Holy Mother of all life on your own sovereign divinity. And although that you hear those words, it's very different to hear the words, even to intellectually understand the words. It is very different from embodying those words. To embody your sovereign divinity is a journey on this planet, because it means that you have to unravel all of those belief systems and all of those coping strategies that you have in place to keep you from your sovereign divinity. And those come from our education, they come from our religions, they come from our societal structures based on gender programming. I mean, it just goes deep. How many unconscious resistances we have to identifying that we are one with God and that we have all the same unlimited sovereign power to create as God creates, as Sophia creates. In fact, that we were born to literally create as the Holy Mother creates. And so that year one journey is all about, okay, let's flip on all the light switches, let's activate your divine genome, let's download enough of your own higher self light, but then your psychic centers open up and you begin to build these profound relationships with ascended master guides that are exceptional teachers on how to embody sovereign divinity, because they came to this earth to go through their own journey too. This is why I love working with ascended masters as mentors. I'm not talking to mentors that have never touched, never walked on this earth plane. I'm talking to mentors that know what it's like to cry at night when you're really upset that something's not going your way, or they know what it's like to have to overcome extreme trauma to embody their sovereign, the light of their higher self. It's like these are true heroic examples that were offered in the Sophia Code of divine feminine leaders that not just went the distance, they went above and beyond in their exceptional embodiment of these teachings. So, excuse me for a moment. So that's the first step. Then when you begin this journey of embodying your higher self consciousness long enough, what happens is your human awareness begins to be operating according to your higher self, and your higher self is operating according to a divine will. Because your higher self exists in a higher plane of reality, and that in that plane of reality, your higher self is always one with the source. It's always one with God, Sophia God. So your higher self is continually downloading into your body here on earth, and with the Sophia Code Mystery School mentorship program, you're learning how to surrender into this process of embodying more of that light, downloading here on the earth plane. Day to day. It doesn't happen overnight. Your whole human body, your emotions, your physical body, your mental body have to learn how to catch up with your higher self-consciousness, because your higher self-consciousness is existing in divine communion with God, and it's moving at the speed of light. So we're trying to get our bodies and our minds and our awareness to catch up to this divinity that we are. And that's what year one is all about. When you mentor with the Ascended Masters, they surround you in their own light and their own experience and their own wisdom. And this is called grace, the transmission of grace, where they help you catch up to this prayer that you want to embody your higher self every day. Now, when you do that long enough, what happens is your awareness shifts where you realize, oh my God, you look back 6 months since, you started the program, or even a year, and you realize, I just changed so much. I changed multiple lifetimes within a single year or within 6 months. Mm-hmm. How on earth did that happen? And it happened because you weren't trying to make it happen through your human efforting. Not to say that your human participation isn't required. It is. But it happens through the grace of your own divinity pouring through you, and your willingness to attempt to integrate that into your daily life. When you identify how much you've changed and how much you were previously suffering without this communion with your higher self and without the mentorship of the masters, you realize, oh my God, I want to serve others. I want to help others find the same peace and the same empowerment that I am living in now. It almost becomes the choice of no choice. You eventually become so empowered that you identify there's nothing higher to offer in this lifetime than to help others achieve the same level of connection, peace, and alignment that you've achieved with your own higher self and with the Ascended Masters and with your direct connection with God. So what happens then? That's year 2 of the Sophia Code curriculum. You go on this journey. Oh, I'm getting the chills right now, because this year, I actually had a lot of resistances to teaching the year 2 curriculum. I had to really resource my mental relationship with the Ascended Masters to teach the year 2 curriculum, because it's a much more vulnerable journey. Because what happens in stage 2, when you're leading through divine feminine Christ consciousness by embodying your higher self, you are being asked to lead by example. You're not being asked to lead by regurgitating a bunch of facts or memorizing the Sophia Code or some other book and teaching like that. Not that it's wonderful to have supportive materials, but what we're talking about in divine feminine Christ leadership, which is the same thing as to say embodying your higher self and leading from the consciousness of your sovereign divinity, not your human awareness, your sovereign divinity. What happens is your entire life becomes the teaching for others.
Right.
Your
it's
whole
huge.
life.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge, because that means you're going to have to be vulnerable every day. That means you're going to have to admit that you're human and you're divine. It means that your guides, your relationship with the Ascended Masters and your direct relationship with God is going to ask you to do things that feel daring. It brings you to that edge of uncomfortability, because you're always going to be expanding. If you choose to serve others by embodying your divinity, you will always be expanding. There will never, ever not be that thing. And with expansion, the only thing that's ever contracting is the ego structure. That's the only thing. It's the ego going through death and rebirth cycles every time you choose to be just a little bit bigger and just a little bit brighter, or maybe a whole lot bigger and a whole lot brighter. So that's what we walk through in the year 2 curriculum for the Sophia Code. We walk through what I like to call the rodeo of leadership, both the underbelly and the brilliance of it, that it's going to bring up all of your deepest, darkest material to heal while you're in the process of helping others heal and become empowered. But that is simultaneously the most accelerated path for embodying your higher self. The path to embody your higher self will always kind of remain at a certain speed until you step into leadership. And when you step into leadership, that's when you're stepping into the Porsche or the spaceship of an accelerated projected timeline for your greatest spiritual maturity. So what happens after year 2? Because here we are, and I've personally been embodying this whole journey for others, right? And we're stepping into 2019, and it's such a pivotal year. It is such an exciting year. It's also such a daunting year. We're facing global crises that are mind-blowing right now on multiple fronts, and so what I can personally speak to of this journey that's literally being birthed out through me, that I'm also going on this journey with, at this point, 1,000 people around the world, more than that, like have stepped into this journey with me. We're just really getting started here, which is just incredible. And what we're all doing together is so spontaneous, and yet it's so Spirit-driven. It's so Holy Spirit-driven. It's a true testimony to the spirit of divine feminine Christ consciousness. What happens after you experience stage 1 and then stage 2, which, by the way, will continue to move like a figure 8 in your heart for the rest of your life, because they feed each other and they grow each other. But what happens is when you integrate enough of your higher self within your human form long enough through leadership, then you are able to identify and accept that there are specific rays of consciousness of your divinity that can be used, implemented, and integrated in your human awareness that are very, very effective technologies and tools for the expansion of your leadership and your light work here on Earth. Mm-hmm. So I'll say that one more time. I'll say it in another way. Your divinity is just as multifaceted and multi-rayed. It's just as multidimensional as the presence of God is. So one of those rays of consciousness of Sophia God is the angelic ray. The angelic ray is a consciousness that is of absolute service to giving and receiving divine love for the highest and best good of all. And you can take that one angelic ray, and what I'm hearing from all the masters and the angels, when you step into embodying that particular ray of your own divinity, you are stepping into the highest alignment with divine will. But what is divine will? Divine will versus free will. There's nothing wrong with your free will. Your free will is a gift from Sophia God. It's what allows you to go on this heroic journey across space and time and go through an awakening process that you are indeed sovereign and divine. If you were just told that you had to be a certain way and controlled because you didn't have free will, you wouldn't. That's not actually pure love. As we all know from our relationships here on Earth, you can't control anyone and experience real love. And it's the same thing with God. Sophia God doesn't, as your Holy Mother and your Holy Father, knew that you would only identify how unconditionally loved you are through your free will. Your free will isn't a fall from grace. It is the grace.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say, you know what I'm saying? It's like that's the gospel right there. And so in your free will, as you awaken through the process of the technology and the mystery school that's presented in the Sophia Code cosmology, it's profound. It is a mystery school for this planetary movement, for this planet's liberation. It really is that big. And when you step into that container and you begin to really commit to the journey of these curriculums that have poured out of my body, heart, and soul, quite physically, you walk yourself right into the temple of your own divinity to identify these rays of consciousness that you can choose to embody in your free will. And as you choose to step into the angelic rays specifically, what you are choosing to do is to align your free will into divine will. And divine will is the perfect will for the highest and best good of all. So what that means is when you start to align with the angelic ray of your higher self, you're going to end up going to places you never expected. You're going to end up talking to people you never expected talking to. You're going to end up creating things that you never thought that you were going to create. You're going to end up working with people you never thought you were going to work with. And it's because, it's almost going to feel as though sometimes, or many times, as though you're in a blindfolded faith initiation. But that's also what's so interesting about the angelic ray, is that it's so connected to the divine quality of faith. We're here for just a moment and across eternity, and to learn this principle of faith while we're in human form is an invaluable learning experience when we're here on this planet. So when you align with divine will, it does require the angelic divine quality of faith to follow through on your guidance, especially when it doesn't make sense, because it's not going to make sense a lot of the times until you're on the other side of following through on that that direction that you've been given.
Right.
So,
yeah. Kaia, I want to ask you something.
I just wanted, you asked about the wings and I didn't get there. So
yes.
Talk about what you said, where did the wings come in? Okay, so what happened for me on this journey was realizing, when I was a child, I've been working with these technologies since childhood, and they were so much a part of me as far as like my inner dialogue of how I worked with the divine and how I've been working with the Ascended Masters my whole life. I never really thought about talking about them out loud. It just felt so intimate and personal. And it never occurred to me that other people wouldn't even consider that they have angel wings, because I could feel mine and I could see mine and I could feel how they would change my body when I would lift them out of my back, or when I would witness them open up and unfurl during a healing session and witness what would happen for people. I thought, well, everybody must just do this when they need their angel wings. And this year, after teaching, all year long about divine feminine Christ leadership, I thought, wow, I went on that same journey. Well, why would I need to write this in a new book? Doesn't everybody just think about this stuff all the time? And that's, it was just like, and I think there's content in there that's actually never actually been written in a book yet, because it was all channeled all year long for the year 2 curriculum. So it's totally fresh, and it's totally, it's a really exciting new blueprint, and it's changing lives all over the world, and it changed my life and what it did for me, because we go through 3 archetypes, interdependent archetypes of Christ consciousness: the teacher, the healer, and the creatrix, from a divine feminine perspective. And when you embody those 3 archetypes long enough, what they do is they open your eyes to identify that you can't expand in your leadership without the technologies of your higher self. You can't reach the amount of people that you want to reach, and you can't get the amount of your mission completed without all of your God-given technologies from your own divine self, from your higher self, which can be downloaded into your human body and expanded upon and strengthened. So this year I went on a world tour, and again, it was, following divine will, being in places I never expected to be, serving in ways I never expected to serve. And one of the things that I noticed was that everywhere I went, there were these disasters that I seemed to be dodging everywhere I went, between volcanoes erupting, earthquakes, fires, hurricanes. We almost had our Hawaii conference wiped out by a hurricane, and I've never prayed like that in my entire life. And we had nothing but sunshine for the conference. It was stunning. But only a week later, another hurricane, Hurricane Lane, hit the island of Big Island, and I was on the part of the island where I got to see what it was like to experience 4 feet of rain in 24 hours. I was locked in my hotel room for 4 days. I was trapped in my hotel room, and during that time, the Ascended Masters, they came to me and I said, I've been dodging these disasters all year long. How did I get stuck in this hotel room for 4 days? And they said, well, we wanted you to be in this room for 4 days. We have a lot to share with you. You've been very, very busy, but we need to start talking to you about 2019, and we need to start talking to you about right now, and we need to start talking to you about what you need to start sharing with your community. And one of the biggest pieces, they said, there's no more time to be ashamed of yourself as a light worker. There's no more time to be ashamed of being this holy and pure and good as made in the image of God. There's no more time to argue with yourself about being a living angel on earth. And I thought, okay, tell me more. And they said, the place that we need you to start in 2019, we need you to really, spread the good word about this angelic ray. Start with this angelic ray, this aspect, because this is the part of us that can be susceptible to the most shame. Because the angelic ray is so bright, and your wings can tower above your head, and those wings can broaden. You see those cell phone towers out there with their 5G network microwaving us every day. I want to show you your angel wings and what your angel wings can do to brighten up this world. Talk about it. Talk about towers of light. Our angel wings can change this world as technology. And so they started to show me a series of protocols, and they said, you've got to tell light workers around the world, they have to not only identify that they have angel wings, but that they can no longer hide their angel wings. They have to keep their angel wings up. And I thought, well, talk to me about the hiding part. And they said, well, one of the deepest issues with being a living angel on earth is identifying how much we've unconsciously shamed ourselves and keep our wings hidden, like behind our backbone, behind the vertebrae and under our shoulder blades. And we do that because the angelic ray is so bright that it makes people who are attached to suffering, who are addicted to darkness, very uncomfortable. And I watched this in childhood, where I would just walk into the room, I'd be shining my angelic light, and there would just be such a dark reaction to it. And I wasn't even doing anything. I was just breathing in the room. And I think many light workers can identify with that they've often felt as though just them being in the same room with other people significantly changes the frequency. And often light workers tend to try to just step down their light to resonate with wherever the people are vibrating at a lower frequency. And we can't do that anymore in 2019. You have to keep your angel wings up, and you have to allow that you are worthy of walking into any room and allowing the vibration of the room to go up and meet you where you're at, not the other direction. And that we've all got to start getting used to setting the bar, and that's what we talk about in the Year 2 curriculum. We set the bar at Divine Feminine Christ Consciousness, and all frequencies raise up to that bar. We don't go down. We expect everything to come up and meet us up here, and that's Sophia Christ Consciousness. And this is why this is so important right now, and as we're opening the temple gates to 2019. Because there are some very, very dark agendas on this planet right now that are very, very active, mind control, and that are making people very suicidal, very depressed, light workers particularly wanting to check out. We've got a toxic chemical warfare happening on this planet. These technologies of your higher self, in particular your angel wings, on the angelic ray of your own higher self, is immune to these mind control programs, and it's immune to this toxic warfare. Further, it will keep you guided and protected wherever you go on this planet, just like it did for me all year long. I got to see this in person as I traveled the world, what was happening everywhere I went and what happened every time I left the place that I was traveling to next. And so that's a little bit about where that evolution came from. Does that make sense, Carrie?
It makes a lot of sense. And that was a lot of beautiful information. And I love the evolution of all of this, because a lot of people, Kaia, in this community have followed you from the beginning. When the Sophia Code came out, and then with the curriculum the first year, and then the second, and we're offering that to this community. But I love the whole wings up concept of being a living angel and no longer hiding our wings, and light worker leadership. And the question I was going to ask you as you were talking about leadership, that I know that there are a lot of people who listen to this call who are very devoted to their evolution. And when we're talking about this concept of leadership, Kaia, I would imagine that the embodiment of leadership is unique for each person, because some people may shy away from, I'm not intended to be a leader and be out there speaking, like Kaia around the world, or, hosting a show like Carrie or anything like that. So can you describe or explain for people about this concept of leadership, if someone is afraid of that word, or perhaps it sounds too big or grand, and, how this is important for everybody?
Yes. So I'd like to say that we're no longer, just to before I even go into that, I just want to say that no matter how intimidated we may feel by that word of leadership, and I just want everyone in the call to know that I'm intimidated by leadership as well. I've been leading my whole life, and there isn't a moment that I'm not nervous. I don't want to say nervous, but there's always that, wow, am I going to be good enough for the next step? Or am I going to be able to rise to the occasion of the next level of leadership? It's the reason why we're so intimidated by leadership is because it's always asking us to grow bigger as people, as human beings. Mm-hmm. It's saying, hey, we can't remain stagnant. We have to continue to grow. And I know that everyone on this call has a prayer for the future of this world. We no longer have the luxury of not being leaders. Not one of us. I don't care how young you are. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how much money is in your bank account. If you want to breathe clean air, if you want to drink clean water, if you want to see this planet in a good way for your children and your grandchildren, we all need to be leading right now. We're in the midst of multiple global crises. We cannot put our heads in the sands anymore. So when you feel nervous about leading, I want you to think about children. I want you to think about I want you to think about their eyes and their hearts. And I want you to think about everything that you feel is beautiful in this world, and that and how much you want it to continue to be here. You know, we literally have lost half of the world's species within only the past, 10 years. Everything's disappearing. We don't actually have the luxury of not leading anymore. So I really want to say that with the most love, yet also with firmness. I get it. Leadership can be intimidating. It is intimidating. I still experience the butterflies. I had butterflies before I got to this call.
We both do. Really it happens for all of us. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very normal. I think if we can just normalize that leadership is always going to bring us into our vulnerability, which is parallel with our greatest growth, and we understand that this is not an age of the guru. This is the age of Aquarius. This is the age of we do this together through community. We're all leaders. We're all teachers. We're all healers. We're all creators. So that's just going to bring me full circle back to your question, Carrie, which is such a great question. What does leadership look like? Well, leadership, it doesn't have to look like how I'm doing this. For example, I consider everyone on the Sophia Dragon Tribe team that I have the great privilege and honor of working with, I consider every one of those women just as much of a leader as I am. And they are doing totally different things to help, create this movement and to keep this movement moving. I consider anyone who is willing to shine their light and be in their truth and be a blesser of reality and a blesser of others and a blesser of themselves, and to be fully present in what they're doing, both present with the people they are doing it with, present with themselves, living in their communion with God, and applying that communion, applying that guidance, applying that brilliance to everything that you do. We call that the beauty way in the Sophia Code. That's called living the beauty way. And when you have a prayer to do everything in your life with presence, with love, with awareness, with compassion, with sobriety of your spirit, that's leadership. That's really choosing to step up. It's leadership is about not checking out. Leadership is about checking in. It's when you decide, oh, I don't just have to be here, I get to be here. It's an attitude adjustment. It's an attitude of gratitude. It's saying, oh wow, I get to roll up my sleeves in this crazy mess that humanity has found its way into. This is a get to. Does it mean I have to make sacrifices to be of this much service? Yeah, it does. But it's the get to. It's a spiritual maturity, and it's a willingness. It's a softening and a willingness to listen to your divine guidance and to follow through. Now, I can't lie, cannot tell a lie. If you listen to your divine guidance long enough, it's going to invite you over and over and over again to speak up in your community, to speak up with friends and family, to become way more involved in what you believe in, by taking action and creating and becoming a part of something bigger than you. Leaders are you don't have to be at the forefront of a movement to be a leader. You can just be a part of what you believe in and find what is your puzzle piece that perfectly fits into all the other puzzle pieces that all of our souls want to come and play with you. It's so much better when we do this together. So if you think about leadership as an activated and willing state of mind that is always guiding you to be a part of something bigger than you that's for your highest and best good, I think that's a good place to start with leadership.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I love the word embodiment, and I think that when we begin to embody more and more of our higher selves and embody these higher energies, it's just that expression, that example, however that is. It doesn't have to be speaking publicly, although, like you said, one becomes more and more comfortable, confident with that. And I would imagine that, in the groups that you work with, how could you not feel more strengthened, with that power of community? And with you, Kaia, you're the perfect example of softness combined with strength, that merging. And, so I wanted to bring that whole topic up of leadership because everybody's going to do it differently. But it is about the practicing the embodiment of these Sophia energies, these God energies with our wings up. And then you never know, like you said, what's going to happen, who you're going to get introduced to, or how it's going to unfold, right?
Yeah, and it's actually really exciting. What I have found is that even especially in this year's journey, there were a lot of unexpected experiences that I didn't anticipate, and yet each of them were perfectly designed. You know that you're leading, no matter in what capacity, whether it's on stage or, supporting or creating something. You know that you're leading if what you are participating in is both growing you personally as it's also making a contribution to the greater whole. So that's what's always going to be surprising, is that if you hang in there with the surprises along the way, what you'll discover is it's maturing you very quickly to stay committed to the present moment of the surprise, if that makes sense.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
And they're brilliant surprises. And it's really a matter of being willing, like you said, willing and open and available to participate in this journey of life with all of us. And that's why you're so dedicated to these communities, and I am as well. And when we blend them, we are so empowered together, Kaia, and you know that. And there are so many people who've written in, that perhaps haven't participated in the Sophia curriculum, and they're asking different questions about it. And I want to bring up one, which is kind of what we're talking about here. Aria writes in saying she wants to enhance her oratory or expression skills. Do the masters or Mother Mary, or do you have any guidance on cultivating this, and do you offer this in your curriculum?
Yes. So the journey, what happens in the year one journey is that you're going through all of the really deep inner excavations of what could be blocking your throat chakra, which you're talking about divine feminine Christ leadership when you're talking about oratory skills. So that's the womb, the womb center, the heart center, and the throat. And in year two, we talk about how those are interdependent with the creatrix, the teacher, and the healer. So the teacher is the archetype of the throat center. And Isis, Mother Mary, and Mary Magdalene are exceptional mentors for the teacher archetype. Hathor is known as She of 1,000 Voices in the Sophia Code cosmology. She's the one that helps you open up to how multidimensional the power of your voice is, and how your voice can literally impact not just this world, but worlds beyond this world. She's like the highest that you can mentor with along the throat chakra. But Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene are like the anchor for that level of angelic power that we can immediately relate to as far as guides. There's an easier bridge there in our consciousness when we're first stepping into this process of opening up to expanding the power of our throat center. So what year two does is it brings you on this writing journey where you write through these, what I call divine feminine Christ invitations to self-realization, and you will receive those in the modules that you would download in the year two curriculum. And if you really take the time to go on the writing journey that I actually lay out for you as a blueprint, it will be actually impossible for you to not begin speaking. We actually saw that over the course of the first wave of year two curriculum being offered. It was unbelievable to witness how many lives, people that were terrified of getting up behind a microphone or writing, starting to work on their book, because the Throat Center is also connected to writing, not just speaking. And really, the back of the throat is connected to the willpower to follow through on your the creative project associated serving your divine purpose. So I would definitely start working with Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, invoking Isis and Hathor as well. They make an incredible kind of temple foundation around you. But if you're already in mentor relationships with the Ascended Masters area, I would say year 2 would be the perfect place for you to start. But with that said, year 1 provides a profound foundation for year 2. It's all of the emotional healing and the spiritual alignment that we need to really step in, angel wings up, brilliant light blazing in year 2. So, they work really well together, and you could do it sounds as though you're energetically ready to do year 2 as a standalone as well.
Yeah, and I wanted to highlight that you've mentioned, the foundational curriculum, which is the first year, is not a requirement to do offer B, which is the second year curriculum, but it's encouraged just because you want to have just that supportive foundation for all of this, right? It's not an absolute. You don't have to if you feel ready, but what do you say to that, Kaia? Because a few people have written in about that.
Yeah, so year 2 was designed to be, absolutely can be a standalone course. I find that year 2 is is geared towards really beginning to step you into your professional offering as a divine feminine leader. And I realized there wasn't a lot or anything really on the market that was talking about the underbelly of leadership, especially with divine feminine leadership. And so I had gone through so much in my own leadership in the course of my own life. It was like I said earlier, well, doesn't everybody think about this stuff? And then I realized, no, and that's what the Ascended Masters kept telling me. No, that's why you have to write this down and share it with the world, because these are subtle and not at times not so subtle teachings that we really need to integrate to be able to have the courage to move beyond our greatest fears about being seen in the spotlight, or just being seen in our gifts. It doesn't have to be behind a microphone or a spotlight, but to be really allow ourselves to unpack the creative genius of our wombs and our hearts and our wings, and to make those offerings here in this world. It's a very tender, vulnerable journey that so many light workers. In my 20 years of counseling light workers, what I've always witnessed is that the diseases, both the emotional and physical diseases that are afflicting light workers, are directly connected to their resistances to being seen as a leader.
Yes.
It's almost like universal. And that's why I had to do the year 2 curriculum, even though I had my own resistances to doing it. I had to get over it and get into it, as I like to say to my initiates. It's like, it's like, this is a get to. I've got to get over it, and I've got to get into the get to of it. And so that's what that year 2 is for. If you're already leading, if you're already teaching, if you already have a healing practice, if you've already got some mentor relationships set up with your guides, like year 2 would be perfect for you. And I just want to say, though, that what's coming in, that what we have, which I'm so excited about for 2019, we're going to be doing the Sophia Circle Certification Leadership Program. And year 1, if you don't do year 2, year 1 is, I haven't made it mandatory, but I'm going to strongly suggest, if you want to become a certified leader for running Sophia Circles, please take year 1 at the very least, because this is very important to me, that we have leaders trained in this very high frequency energy with enough of a background of a mentor relationships with the Sophia Dragon Tribe, with the Ascended Masters, so that we're all sharing this codex from the same heart-centered, awakened space within us, if that makes sense.
It does. And I love that what both curriculums do is, like you said, they support people in just courageously, and that's such a strong word. That's what we need. Courageously spotlighting our gifts, And what I want to highlight is that, like you said, it doesn't have to be speaking, although it very well could. It can be writing, because so many of these beautiful listeners, Kaia, in this community, have so much to share. And if they're not comfortable in the beginning with speaking, it can be through writing or through their healing practice in some way. And if they wouldn't be listening to a show like this if they weren't intended to be sharing these gifts. And I love what you said about the resistance to that is what causes so much of the physical and emotional disease that people are going through. And so I want to highly encourage people to do this. And we're going to do an activation in a bit, Kaia, but since we're talking about the curriculum so much, if you're not on your computer, you can go to it later, but people are asking where it is. Go to straighttalkforthesoul.com/marketplace. You'll see Kaia's beautiful picture. Click on it, and offer A is the foundational curriculum, which we've been talking about. Offer B is the year 2, the 2018 curriculum. And then offer C, which she's doing here for us, is both of them together. So you can get both. So I just wanted to let people know where they could find that. And thank you for letting me present this to our community, Kaia, in these generous packages, because it is a very generous price point compared to what they're valued at. So is there anything, Kaia, well, there's so many questions about them, but are you feeling guided to share some more about these curriculums for those who are feeling in the moment guided to participate?
Yeah, what I would say is that I'm just so grateful to be a part of something that's actually changing so many lives. This year I went on a world tour. Part of it was to design the jewelry line, which I believe we have a special coupon in those offers for the Magdalene, Earth Angel, Karmic U Cross in those packages, which is really exciting. And on that journey, I got to meet people literally all over the world that have been changing their lives with these curriculums, and to see the impact of people stepping into their professional offering because they went through these programs. I can't even describe what it feels like in my heart to know that I was a part of activating the light work of other light workers. I mean, I have tears in my eyes. What an honor that something this true and authentic could transmit out through these videos, through these calls, through the written material. I just want to fall on my face in gratitude with God and just be I just feel so humbled and grateful to have created something that is this effective. I know there's a lot of programs out there and they all serve different needs and purposes, and I just feel really I don't know, honored, humbled and honored that these programs are just so effective. And I got to see it. It wasn't just all the emails that we receive, all of the feedback we get on Facebook, all our staff, all of the feedback we get, but to actually see it with my own eyes. I was in Australia in Sydney, and we had initiates of the year 2 curriculum helping us run this event in Sydney where we had 200 people show up for the first time I was there, and to watch them take the principles of the year 2 curriculum and put them into action in real time in ceremony. Women I had never even met. I showed up in another country, and they were able to help me run a container of that size based on the principles of year 2. It was astounding. I was just oh my God, this is the medicine of Sophia. We're all working as one for her glory. This is really happening because I was, I dug deep enough to pull this curriculum out of me. And it was the same thing with year 2, the year 1 journey was just astounding, again, to meet people that came to all of our live retreats and to see how much their lives had changed by creating these mentor relationships, by creating their altars, which we learn about in year 1, and just to see all the practices put into action. all I can say, I actually right now I want to say really thank you. I feel deeply moved. I want to say thank you to all of our initiates. And I always say I'm an initiate of the Sophia Code too, because I am very much a student of this work all of the time. And I just want to say thank you for your willingness to show the world what it looks like to transform this rapidly in such a short amount of time, and to become such effective wayshowers of divine feminine Christ consciousness. It's from my heart to your heart. Thank you for hearing the call and being a part of that first wave of the Sophia Code movement and opening the door for so many of our listeners today. I just feel so much gratitude. Thank you.
Well, and I want to highlight the mentor relationships that are created with the Divine Feminine Ascended Masters when in the early stages of our connection, and this was it was actually when you wrote the Sophia Code, and then I developed a much closer relationship with Mother Mary, with Isis, and it was supported by the Sophia Code and you. It has clearly expanded what I do over the years, and I just want people to recognize the level of support that becomes available to them when they really cultivate these mentorship relationships. And you're a walking, living example of that, and and I feel it in my own life, so I really wanted to share that. And we've received so many messages from people who have followed you and worked with you since you were first on the show over 2 years ago, I believe it was, whose lives have changed. And so I really want to honor you for that and for everything that you're doing, and for continuing to come back here and give people the opportunity to participate like this. I mean, it's wings up time. Like it's time.
It really is. Carrie, thank you for bringing. First of all, I feel very honored to hear that reflection. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's an honor to be a part of your journey and to get to be on this journey together. And the other thing I wanted to say, I love that point that you brought up about the mentor relationships, because it really is a major part of this cosmology. It's a big heart part of the heart part of this. And it's for those of you that are unfamiliar with my past, I died multiple times in my childhood, as Carrie shared in the introduction. And when I would go into the other realms through these death experiences, I was always greeted by the masters and the angels. And I received many teachings from them. And over the course of having to die, go across the realms and come back over and over again, through very extreme violence, I developed an unusual relationship, very, very unusual with these masters. And when they came to me as the High Council of the Sophia Dragon Tribe, they made me a promise. They said that if I took on this commission of writing the Sophia Code and birthing this codex into the world, they said that they would create this mystery school where they would mentor and they would stay with anyone who did this work 24 hours a day if that's what they wanted in their lives. Now, I've been working with the spirit world for many, many lifetimes, but, since my first memories were of the spirit world while I was in human form as a child, talking to angels. And what I can tell you is that a lot of spirit world energy doesn't hang around like that. They come and they go based on an invocation process. This is what makes the Sophia Code Mystery School so unique and different. When you decide, I'm going to do these initiations in the Sophia Code, I'm going to work with this mystery school, what they're saying is, what you're agreeing to is them participating in your life for as long as you possibly want. Forever if you want, unless you tell them to go away. And then what year one does is it walks you through the process of opening doorways in your home and in your office space to really learn how to integrate what it means to live with Ascended Masters. I base this off of my own personal experience of what it was like to get used to not just being helped by the Ascended Masters, not just being protected by them, but literally living with them and working with them every day. In my home, there are altars in every room of my home. There are altars everywhere. There's altars outside. It's like I live in a temple space. I've been living with these masters my whole life, but consciously living and working with them for about 10 years now. So it's like I've really gone through the whole human journey of what it's like to feel shy or embarrassed about your faults. What happens when an Ascended Master lives with you? It means that the energy in your home speeds up. It gets brighter, it gets lighter, it gets clearer, but that means that you can't hide out in old addictions or old coping strategies or old patterns. It means that you're inviting the best of the best to come in and live with you and mentor you in how to embody your greatest potential every day. And that sounds on paper like a really great idea. But when you start to live it, it means you're being asked to live as an exceptional human being. And we're living in a world that's based on mediocre or worse.
Yes.
So you're being asked to live as we lived in the mystery schools of ancient times in an exceptional way, with all of the light switches in your brain turned on, in a certain level of spiritual maturity and spiritual sobriety, where you're not looking to anybody to save you. You're mentoring with these masters to learn how to become the master. They're not interested in saving you. They will bring miracles into your life. Their resonance creates a field of incredible protection and growth and education around you that's just you literally can't get it from any other resource but them. They're like the top of the totem pole in the spirit world are these particular Ascended Masters. In this particular cosmology, it's just so, the way it was channeled is free of all dogma and all religious context of prior lifetimes. So when you're working with them, there's no weird oaths and vows or guru models involved at all. It is clean, clear Sophia light, original Sophia teachings, the original plan for mentoring with the masters. It's returned through this cosmos, through this cosmology, through this mystery school. So, in year one, you're really getting used to what that feels like just in your day-to-day life, or at work or with your kids or with your husband. Like, how do I adjust to the fact that Isis is with me now and what I used to find acceptable in my relationships no longer works for me? How do I make the adjustment? How do I integrate that? In year two, then you get used to what it's like to have Isis's wings behind you as she's teaching you how to lift your wings up and lead the way. That's a whole other rodeo. And each rodeo builds on the next one. It's like each arena gets you ready for the next arena. And that's what I love about this mystery school, is that it's truly that multidimensional, where you're never, as Isis teaches us in year one, you don't get to rest on your laurels in any way with ascension. It doesn't mean you don't need rest or integration, because everybody needs rest and integration, but you don't get to rest on your laurels. If you mentor with the Ascended Masters, they're always going to invite you to become more expanded, more love, bigger, more prosperous. You just take up more space, as the Sophia Dragons teach us. They want you to take up as much space as possible in this lifetime with your wings and your light, your divine love, and with your gifts and talents. They want you to take up space.
I love that. Take as much space up as you can with your angelic wings and dare to do that. Yeah,
That's
I love
right.
that.
Yeah, and they help us when we're just shaking in our boots. I mean, every time I get on stage, I've got the butterflies. But does that mean I let the butterflies keep me on stage? No. The Ascended Masters surround me. I'm part of a team, and that's what we're learning in these mentor relationships. You're part of a team. You're not doing this alone.
I love that. I mean, it's what supports you in doing what you do and me in doing what I do. I mean, to have that support anytime before I go live, whatever show I'm doing, and it makes all the difference in the world, knowing that you're never alone anymore. It's like, and even for both of us, when we go on stage or when we speak, we're still, shaky and nervous, and you just know you have that support. And you call on it, and it brings you more strength than you automatically get filled with strength. And And I would encourage anyone to just dare to experience that. And also you brought up, and it's important to mention, the trauma that you went through growing up. And a lot of light workers and a lot of people who listen to this show have been through a great deal of trauma that causes them to shut down in this life. And it's happened to me as well, not in the same way that it happened to you, Kaia, yet it requires a lot of courage to do this, but that's why we're here. I mean, the people who've gone through the greatest trauma, you have so much fire in you because of that you can come out of that and overcome that and and have the grandest wings available. I mean, it's like you have so much in you to support that. And I'm grateful that you mentioned, that, because a lot of people have been through trauma, Kaia, and they don't know how to move out of that or move out of, the coping mechanisms that have been put into place because of that. So these curriculums really help with that, right?
Yes, they do, and especially the year one, because I do talk a lot about, not as much as I want. Eventually I will do a program on recovering from trauma. I'm just not there yet. We're working on so many projects simultaneously. But one of the most important pieces, and you can use your angel wings for this, one of the biggest challenges for people who have survived extreme trauma of abuse or violence or even the death of a loved one that just shook them to their core, it's really important to know that there is no holier than thou energy coming from God or the Ascended Masters. You were given your feelings for a reason. Your feelings provide you information. And I always tell all of our beautiful community of initiates, you don't have to like your journey to still show up to it. And you don't have to like the feelings that you have about your trauma to still be present with them. Nobody says, there's no handbook in the sky where God's checking off the check boxes of if you've suppressed your feelings good enough to get into heaven, because it just doesn't exist. If you are enraged about being raped, it's okay that you're enraged about it. You have every right to have your feelings about that. If you are, absolutely devastated because of the loss of a loved one or the loss of something in your life that was unfair, or was an abuse, it's okay to feel the grief and the shock of that. In fact, you have to feel your feelings to actually access the jet fuel that those feelings are going to provide for your divine purpose. So what I work with the Ascended Master Kuan Yin, who is key code 6 of the Sophia Code, and Mother Mary, who's key code 4 of the Sophia Code, are exceptional mentors for this, which is own your feelings. Let yourself have all of your feelings. And in that process, that's mastery too. That's what we're mentoring with the Ascended Masters as well too, is how to be with the power and the intensity and the information that our feelings are providing for us. Very often, especially in that year one journey, as you begin the process of embodying your higher self light more and more, a lot of anger is going to arise. And the reason for that is because you're angry at yourself and you're angry at the past of what the abuses of what happened and what didn't look like it worked out. And that anger, if it stays stuck, it's going to really harm you if you don't let yourself feel it and if you don't let yourself be with it and learn how to love yourself in that anger, which we mentor a lot. We actually mentor in that year two as well. So I just want to share a little bit about that. I can feel people on the line that needed to hear that message today. Mm-hmm. Your feelings are precious. Your feelings can be jet fuel, but you can't access the jet fuel unless you allow yourself to be fully present and real with your feelings. I can't tell you how many light workers I've counseled that have placed layers of minimizing programs over their own emotional bodies that I have to remove while counseling them, to say, like, hey, you are literally stuck in this part of your life because you refuse to feel your anger about this. And I just want everyone to know that you are still an angel if you feel angry. You've got to feel that repressed anger for it to be able to be turned in, used as the fire for your divine purpose or for your healing or just your personal healing or personal movement in your life, even if it's not for your divine purpose. It's really important to know that, and that the year one journey is pivotal for making that shift. We got a lot of responses about that from light workers around the world, that we're shifting out of very hardened patterns of traumatic coping strategies into more flexible and softened spaces within them where they were learning how to approach life from a new way through a divine feminine approach.
I love it. That felt really important to share with this group today. So I'm glad we touched on that. And to me, this is all about empowerment. Everything that I do, Kaia, is about empowering people, and you do that so well and in a very practical way. I mean, clearly there's so much divine and cosmic support, but you really provide the tools, the practical tools to help people expand their wings and get their wings up, so they're not hiding them anymore. So as we're talking about this, and I'm looking at the time, I know we really want to do this activation. Do you feel like this is a good time to move into that?
Yeah, I think this has been such a beautiful interview. Thank you for creating the space with such powerful questions, Carrie.
You're welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'd have you here all the time. I'm so grateful you're here. And, for the ones who already know you and love you, and for the ones who maybe this is the first time they've heard you, and it can be the first day of the rest of their amazing life to have this kind of support. And so it's an honor that you're here. So,
thank you.
Yeah. So this wing technology.
Let's get some angels. So let's bless up some angels here, shall we?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So I invite, if you're on this call and you're driving, please stop driving and pull over before we begin. It's really important that you're either seated or laying down. If you're in a public space, it would be great if you found a little bit of privacy away from other people. This energy, this transmission that comes through me is very powerful, and it can actually magnetize things to happen around you. So let's just take a space, take a moment to really ground into, I invite you to ground into your body. This has been a very powerful call, and so I invite you to maybe even place your hands, rub your hands up and down your arms so you can feel your arms where you begin and end in your arms. Maybe bring some love to your legs. Just feel your beautiful hands blessing your legs. And just feeling where where your bottom is sitting, how the weight of your butt against the seat or the couch or wherever you're sitting or laying down in your bed. And just feeling the weight of you. Feeling the presence of you in human form. I can feel in the field that word weight. Maybe that's a loaded word, but actually, Sophia asked me to use that word for a reason, because she wants for you to understand during this transmission the gravity of who you are here on earth. That you really are a living angel on earth. I have tears in my eyes, feeling how much the Holy Mother loves you, adores you, cherishes you. You are an embodiment of her grace, and you are an embodiment of the Holy Father's grace as well. There is no question in the mind of Sophia God who you are. The only question that exists is within your own mind about your own value and worth as a light worker here on earth. And in 2019, those questions now must come to an end. Those questions now need to be turned into the answer. The answer is arising from within the spaces within you, that yes, indeed, you are a living angel on earth. There's no more need to argue with yourself about that. This is a message coming from Sophia, saying there's no more need to argue with yourself about that, dear one. You are so dear and precious and holy to me. It is time to accept your own divine inheritance of your own sovereign divinity. In this alone, you will be making a significant impact upon the planet during this very pivotal year for humanity. So at this time, I would like to welcome our beloved Key Code mentors. Now, the High Council of the Sophia Dragon Tribe, there are quite literally countless masters that speak as one, thousands upon thousands. But what we choose in the first book of the Sophia Code to focus on 8 specific ascended masters from this High Council. And I'm going to invoke them around us. They're already here with us. They've been supporting us this whole time. But for the sake of ceremony, let's just invite us to welcome in Isis, Key Code 1, She of 1,000 Names. Hathor, Key Code 2, She of 1,000 Voices. Green Tara, Key Code 3, She of 1,000 Stars. Mother Mary, Key Code 4, She of 1,000 Roses. Mary Magdalene, Key Code 5, She of 1,000 Angels. Kuan Yin, Key Code 6, She of 1,000 Waters. White Buffalo Woman, Key Code 7, She of 1,000 White Clouds and Thunder Beings. Finally, we invoke the Holy Seraphim, which is an angelic order of the Divine Mother, Key Code 777, the Sophia Dragon. At this time, I welcome these beloved Key Code mentors to create a circle of Divine Feminine Christ empowerment and light around you. If you do not believe that you are worthy of these Divine Feminine Ascended Masters blessing you, that's okay that you feel that way, but I'm here to remind you of the truth that at any moment you could just, maybe just for a minute, just relax into the truth that you are actually worthy of this much love, attention, and support. And you can just soften into it, just even for 5 minutes. You can just lean into the support that we're all receiving and accepting, the presence of these masters, loving us right now, just as we are, exactly as we are, exactly where we are in our development. You're right on time for this activation. Here we go. And so we invite everyone to visualize this circle of light with these beautiful ascended masters who are just adoring you and respecting you and cherishing you. To feel the presence of your body in the center of that circle, now I invite your own higher self, the consciousness of your higher self, which it's impossible for you to exist here on this earth plane without your higher self. You are an emanation of your higher self. But to begin downloading even more of that light of your higher self into your human body now. So I invite you to feel this presence of beautiful waterfall of your own divine light begin to pour down over your crown chakra. This is a water path transmission. And just feeling that water flowing down over your shoulders. It's white light, it's iridescent, there might be some gold in it, platinum, silver, but it's mostly white, that iridescent pearlescent sheen. And it's flowing like mother's milk down into your crown chakra, but also all flowing over your face, down the back of your head, flowing into your ear chakras. You may begin to feel your chakras opening up and spinning open to drink from this light of your own divinity. Feeling that beautiful mother's milk light flowing down the back of your shoulders, down the back of your heart, down your back, your lower back, down the front of your body, filling up your chakras, allowing them to open up, and your meridians, and every cell of your body to begin to deeply drink from the light of your own divinity. You may begin to feel a frequency shift within your body as this light begins to travel all the way down your legs, filling your thighs and your buttocks and your root chakra and your knees. Your knees are very important for moving forward with the divine guidance that you receive. So if you have any knee issues, open up those cells in your knees, within your bone marrow. Begin to drink even more deeply from this divine light that you are. Feeling your shins filling up, the back of your calves all the way down into the bottom of your feet, and taking a really beautiful deep breath into this space within you, this universe that has now been filled with the presence, the power, and the peace of your own higher self-consciousness. And at this time, I welcome Isis, Divine Feminine Ascended Master Isis, to step forward. And she is singing over your body, heart, and mind. You may hear her singing the songs of Sophia. Her voice sounds like an angel. And you'll notice that Isis has wings. She actually was such a profound master when she walked this earth. She was mentored by Hathor. And in her mentorship with Hathor, her etheric soul's wings appeared here on the earth plane. And this is why she is pictured in ancient Egypt with her wings, because she showed people what her soul's wings looked like in physical form. And so she's blessing the back of your heart chakra. And as she brings her hand in her song to the back of your heart chakra, you may begin to feel the back of your heart chakra spiraling open. And you may feel chains being released out of your back of your heart chakra. There may be some sort of like physical obstructions if they're not chains. Maybe you might have kind of took a hammer and nail and kind of banged some boards into the back of your soul to keep those wings, in the closet, lock it in the closet. And just witnessing lifetimes, Isis is singing over the back of your heart to clear lifetimes of psychic attack, projections, any kind of blockages that have been placed there to keep your heart from fully expanding on the backside of your body. We often think about an open heart just from the front of our body, but your heart needs to be open in the back of your body, and here's why. Your wings literally arise out of the back of your heart chakra. So Isis is now coming around in front of you, and she is meeting you eye to eye. And as she does, you may feel your third eye open up into this beautiful indigo violet flame color. Yeah, you have a beautiful third eye, and you can just let it open. For some of you on the call, I'm seeing this is the first time you've ever opened your third eye, and that's just like perfect. It's really, really great. There's just nothing to do about it. You just get to have this happen through grace right now. And just let it blink open. It might be a little bright for the first time to open up. For those of you who are just 11, you've already had your third eye open. Let Isis bless you with this eye of Ra blessing that she's initiating you with for 2019. And through that beautiful consciousness of your third eye, look into the eyes of Isis, how much she respects you as a light worker and as a living angel on earth. And she is making this, she's toning over you. And as she does, you're going to feel your wings literally sliding out from behind your shoulder blades, out through the back of your heart chakra, and then begin to tower up past your shoulders. I want you to imagine raising those wings all the way up above your head. Okay? And if it feels weak because it's been a long time since you've lifted your wings up above your head, that's okay. Receive this healing light from Isis. She's sending an emerald green healing light to your wings to clear any toxicity, any repression, any belief systems that would keep your wings from going all the way up. There you go, Angel. That's right. Just bring it all the way up. Beautiful. And Mary Magdalene is stepping forward. Mary Magdalene is going to be the overriding mentor for the 2019 journey of our Sophia Code movement. And she is arriving with Ascended Master Jesus and the entire Order of Magdalena, which we're going to be learning more about in 2019. And they're gathering around you, and they're blessing you on your angel wings. And Mary Magdalene's wings are up. And notice that there's a great amount of gold light that is being transmitted as light rays from her wings to your wings. And what Mary Magdalene is saying is she's transmitting to you the power of your wings, not only to bless this world, but to also make medicine upon yourself, to bring angelic light, angelic healing, and angelic medicine to your own body, to your own bank accounts, to your family, to to your home, and especially to your emotions and your physical body in 2019. It's going to be very important that you can feel that you have a right to bring your own light work to yourself. Many, many light workers are brilliant at healing and teaching other light workers, but to receive the gifts of their own Holy Spirit to themselves is a whole other step. It's a whole other frequency. So Mary Magdalene she's taking these sacred oils and she's anointing your third eye, because through this, she is a high priestess of Isis as well as Sekhmet and Kali Ma. And so she loves to anoint the openings to make ceremony and make sacred when these pivotal moments happen. And so Mary Magdalene is anointing your chakras. And as she does, I would like for you to feel the energy of these anointing oils strengthening every cell of your body, your soul, and then also flowing up to your wings. And as she does, she's really enjoying the response that she's feeling from everyone from you receiving from her. Because when love is received, joy arises. You can give love, but when it's not received, it's almost like an incomplete circuit. So when you receive the gift that is being given from Mary Magdalene and from Isis, there is a joy that arises on high. So in that joy, Mary Magdalene's wings are starting to quiver in happiness. They're flexing. And so she's inviting you to feel what it's like. And you can do this in your imagination. You can actually move your shoulders. But I invite you to focus on the feeling of where your wings connect in through the back of your heart chakra. And then how there's actual muscles that connect the etheric wings into the back of the heart that you can feel from the shoulders down. It's as though there's a V. It's like there's two straight lines in a V that go from your shoulders into the back of your heart. Almost like wing muscle straps or ligaments. They're not ligaments, they're muscles. They're literally soul muscles. So if you want to feel your physical shoulders moving back and forth to practice flexing your wings. But you can also, to jumpstart your imagination, and when I say the word imagination, that doesn't mean it's imaginary, as though it doesn't exist. It means that you're using the playground of your consciousness to connect with the truth of your soul, to give you a movie screen of what's really going on. It's a feedback loop of information through your feeling body. Your imagination that's what it was created for. It's a form of perception. So I invite you to feel the strength of these muscles, these ligaments that connect to your wings, which allow for your wings to tower above you. And I really mean tower above you. You don't have small wings. You might have even multiple sets of wings based on different rays of consciousness of your divinity. We'll go into that in future classes and future transmissions. For now, though, this is the most important ray to start with. Understand, other than the golden dragon light body, which you meet in chapter 13 of Sophia Code. When we're talking about technology, this is the next step. These angel wings. Okay. So I'd like for you to stretch your angel wings to almost arc around you. Mary Magdalene's smiling at you. She's showing you by example what it looks like to bless yourself with your own wings. They kind of circle around you, almost like you could even, if you need some privacy, you could even put some wings in front of your face and around your body. And you can feel that beautiful cocoon of your own angelic feathers. Now, I invite you, I'm sending you this transmission of what it feels like to receive the light rays that come off of your own wings. I invite your body to begin to drink those rays of light, the blessings of that light, literally vibrating off of the feathers of your own wings, going into your own heart, into your emotional body, into your own mental body, into your mind, into your organs. Let those rays of light in. I mean, it's ecstatically blissful. And no matter what you can feel, I can promise you, if you allow this to integrate over the days and months and the course of 2019, you will touch in with the ecstatic bliss eventually. I promise you. It will happen. And just marvel that Sophia, God designed you to perfectly be able to bless yourself first with this much angelic light and love. That's significant. You are this worthy. You are worthy of your own angelic light. Now, I'd like for you to take those big, beautiful angel wings and to use them to sweep over your prefrontal cortex, your mind, that front part of your brain. And as you do, I would like for you to release, command through the power of your own higher self, with the healing light and support of Mary Magdalene and Isis, that you're going to bless your mind to be absolutely invincible to any and all dark agendas of mind control that are happening right now on multiple levels of reality on this planet. So I want you to put one wing over the front of your mind that blesses your mind in its invincibility. And I want you to bring your other wing and point it directly to the sky, all the way up to the seventh plane, to that source Sophia light from which all the worlds of form arise. And I want you to connect to that seventh plane consciousness and see it as a waterfall of light that never stops flowing from the very source of all that is through you throughout all of 2019. And that in this moment, we're creating a cellular imprint that no matter where you go, no matter what circumstances you may find yourself in, no matter where you're guided to be of service, no matter where you're guided to embody your higher self, that your angel wings are always at your service first, to protect, ground, and guide your human body, your precious human embodiment, including your mind. Your mind is where most of this global war is happening. It's the battle for the mind. All of the angels and ascended masters know this. Your body is a casualty of that war, but the war happens in the mind. And you must use your own angelic light to keep the temple of your mind clean and clear in 2019. And you have the wings to do it. All you need to do is call upon your own wings to sweep your mind clean and clear, to fill the temple of your mind with the light of your own divinity, the clarity, the peace of your own higher self that you feel in this moment that can be transmitted through your wings to bless your own mind. And this practice, let's just make the imprint right now that this can be a regular practice in 2019. And blessing your mind with the ability to become radically expanded in 2019, beyond limited thoughts, beyond limited ideas of what's possible in 2019, because that's going to be really important. You are a new paradigm birther. You are a divine feminine Christ birther of new realities. That's what you came here to be as a light worker. That's your angelic mission. But there's going to be so many things that happen that we're already seeing right now in 2019 that could shake you at the very core of your being, but not if your angel wings are out. And I want to go back to your heart chakra right now, because your heart must stay open. Your mind must stay open and your heart must stay open in 2019. And your wings are a big part of that. Because if you keep your angel wings out, I promise you, what would trigger you in the past won't be able to topple you again. That doesn't mean you're not going to feel the trigger. It doesn't mean you're not going to feel your feelings. It means you won't be toppled by it. It means you're going to keep your heart unconditionally open. Because when your wings are out and up above you, you are literally using soul muscles to do that. The same soul muscles that are connected to the soul muscle of your heart. So I invite you to feel your wings beating the air. I don't like the word beating, but moving the air around you. Feel them. Practice moving them back and forth. I work out with a personal trainer all the time. I can't do light work without personal training. This is a very easy concept for me, where, I don't like lifting weights, but I do it because I want to be strong in my mind and in my heart. And it's the same thing with your wings. I need you to practice lifting your wings and moving them back and forth so you can feel the subtle energies moving forward and back in your heart center. Isn't that incredible? When you move your wings forward, there's an energy that moves forward in your heart. When you move your wings back, your heart chakra actually literally by default opens wider. The more you practice keeping your heart open, the stronger it becomes, the more impervious it becomes to psychic attacks, as well as your own self-sabotage, as well as the unresolved wounding that we all have. We're all working on something. We're all healing up something in this world. No matter if you're here, there's something to heal, and that there's nothing wrong with that. We need to let that go in 2019. Our greatest medicine comes from the wounds that we are healing. Our greatest teachings, our greatest divine feminine wisdom, our greatest divine feminine embodiment comes from the vulnerability of being, of our wounds that became medicine. Not perfection, medicine. See the difference? Perfection, you already are perfect. The divinity of you is already perfect. It's not about perfect, it's about being perfectly you. And these angel wings are a part of being perfectly you in 2019. So Mary Magdalene and the entire Order of Magdalena are stepping forward now to deeply bless you as a wayshower of this angelic light in 2019. They're clearing, this is called a divine intervention of grace, where there is karmic layers that are being lifted off of your back, off of your wings. I'm seeing energies being dropped off of people's legs and kneecaps. I'm even seeing some people energetically purging from the intensity of having to hide that you were an angel. And Mary Magdalene is blessing each and every one of us with the assurance that she is guiding you in 2019. She is here to mentor you in what it means to be a way shower of this much angelic light during such dark times. And that one of the most powerful attributes of the angelic ray of divinity is faith. And that it is our faith that will liberate humanity from these dark, treacherous agendas of annihilation. We didn't come here to play small, as the Sophia Dragons teach us in Chapter 13 of Sophia Code. They say we came here to be the holy light and fire of Sophia at this time. That's what you and I are here to do through our faith, through the embodiment, through the way showing of our angelic higher self light. And your wings are going to make it so much easier and so much fun for you in 2019. Even amidst the most craziest circumstances, you're going to be able to access an open heart, unconditional love, faith, and the willpower to keep your eyes fixed upon the new paradigm that you are birthing beyond this old patriarchal paradigm that will be overcome. It will be overcome. It is divine will that it will be overcome. You don't have to know how or when, but we do know that we are an important part of that mission. It's a get to. And so in closing, I'm welcoming the entire Sophia Dragon Tribe, raising their wings and their dragon scales and their voices in joyful celebration of your willingness as a way shower of divine feminine Christ consciousness, as a way shower of this angelic light in 2019, as a way shower of how to embody your higher self in all circumstances. Thank you for your willingness. We now seal these empowerments, blessings, and activations within the light and fire of your own Holy Spirit. And we say that it is done, it is done, it is done by the power of three, a perfect Trinity. It is done, and so it is. I give thanks to this exceptional High Council on the sovereign divinity of humanity. I thank you, Isis and Mary Magdalene, for your exceptional way showing for all of us across space and time. You did not abandon us. You could have gone anywhere in the cosmos, and you chose to be here with us to mentor us in how to be just like you. Masters, living masters here on the earth plane, living angels in human form. Thank you so much for the beauty way of your mentorship in the Sophia Code cosmology. Thank you, Sophia God, for blessing every single person on this call in 2019. I know that we are all being called to lead, and I know that you would not ask us to be to lead in our own unique ways if we did not have the strength and the gifts to do so. I know that you've blessed each and every one of us equally. And so I give thanks that for your blessings within us and upon us in this coming year, for a powerful, powerful new year of expansion, prosperity, growth, success, divine love, and most importantly, true, sober, clear, ever-present communion in you. For this is where our highest and greatest joy comes from, is in our direct relationship with you. And I give thanks that for this good news that you've given to us through the Sophia Code, and in the holiness that we all are, I now say, amen. It is done. Thank you.
Amen. That was so beautiful. It was this divine intervention of grace and, just this practice of, I love that you said using our soul muscles to stretch and flex our wings and really knowing that we are worthy and deserving of being this living angel on earth. And what a blessing this show was today, and what a blessing you are, Kaia. And I hope that everybody listening is feeling so empowered to really feel the embodiment of these wings every day, and no more playing small, and with all of your beautiful support, and with the Sophia Code foundational curriculum and the second curriculum and all of that available. It's exciting. I feel a sense of empowerment with these wings right now. There are all these wings up.
I am so glad, Carrie, because you're such an angel.
I'm flapping mine right now. It's like, I love the words. Like, it's just like, feel the cocoon of your own angelic feathers, It's just so beautiful. And what a gift it is that you've allowed everyone to experience that. And you are so amazing, Kaia, and I love you so much. And
Aww.
Thank you for this today. I'm smiling from ear to ear. So beautiful.
Thank you, Carrie. I love you too. It's such an honor to be on your show today. And just always feel such amazing energy with your community and your leadership. So thank you again. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you, beautiful. I have chills all over. Okay, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this Wings Up show. Wings Up. Hashtag Wings Up, everybody. Thank you all for the gift of your light, your presence, your love, your time today. If you've joined us by computer, please send us your comments and feedback. We love hearing from you. And then listen again. There's a lot here. And if you feel called to step into your leadership role and cultivate a personal connection with the masters, please consider investing in the Sophia Code curriculum that Kaia has so generously made available to this community. And I better wrap up for today. So thank you all again. And join us in our Facebook group and let us know what you heard, what you felt today. And until next time, I am sending waves and waves of angel light and love and gratitude directly from my heart to yours. May you feel it, receive it, offer it to those you encounter today or tonight, wherever you are in the world. And until next time, please give yourself full permission to shine instead of shrink, express instead of suppress, and own that amazing glow of yours. I'll see you back here in this playground of light tomorrow, everybody. Bye-bye.